Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Jay and welcome to the Shiplife. So for today's cruise news, we have a major cruise ship in the room that we have to address. However, before we get started, I do have to give all of you a trigger warning, as this topic that we're going to talk about is, well, in my opinion, very disgusting, in some ways very hurtful, and it's something that's going to, well, grind a lot of your gears. So if you're not able to handle a talk about, let's say, somebody being extremely, in a very hateful way, discriminated against just solely based off of the way that they look, I do advise you guys to not watch this video. So about a week ago on May 28th, there was an incident that took place on board the Carnival Mardi Gras during the game show Family Feud. On board the Carnival Mardi Gras, they have a show called Family Feud Live. So Family Feud is arguably one of the most popular game shows out there to ever air on TV. It originally aired back on July 12th in 1976. Now, obviously, this is well before my time, 1976. I was born in 1992. And to my knowledge, the game show really hit its peak popularity whenever celebrity Steve Harvey actually ended up hosting the show. So I do believe the game became extremely popular for a number of reasons. Basically, how it works is that you take two families, which is extremely relatable to everyone because, well, we all have families, and you get them to answer anywhere between 100 to 150 survey questions. And for each family, using their own experience and opinion, they have to figure out what is the most popular and relatable answer to that question. If they get it right, then, well, they get points based on how relevant and popular the question is. Now, on each family side, they will continue to put out answers to the question until they get one wrong. After that point, the other family can take the answering side of things, and if they can continue to keep that momentum going, then, well, they can continue racking up points until there are no more answers left. Now, I do hope I explained all this in such a way that it's easy for all of you to understand, but also how you win is very simple. The family on either side with the most points at the end of the game is the winner, and they usually win a cash prize. The show became so popular that it went from TV to eventually on Carnival ships. For example, it's on the Carnival Mardi Gras. It'll be on the Carnival Celebration later on this year, as well as the Jubilee that will be debuting in 2023. There's even a board game, both a regular board game, and Carnival even has its own Carnival Cruise Line Family Feud game. So now that we're all hopefully on the same page, here's what happened, because I don't want to beat around the bush here. I just want to give you guys some context. That way we all understand what's going on. So there was a question that was asked by Lee, your cruise director on board the Carnival Mardi Gras, and essentially he asked the family, and apparently there was a black family and there was a white family. The white family was asked, if your dog could drive, what would he run over? Now, the woman just said, or, well, there was a woman on the opposing side of the family, the white side of the family, and she said, people. And Lee, your cruise director, he would then ask the woman, I guess it was a mom or something like that, if she could be more specific. And I believe he ended up naming off things like a mailman or something of that nature. They say she thought about it for a second, and then she proceeded to say, black people. Now, first of all, I do want to say that Lee, the cruise director on board the Carnival Mardi Gras that was hosting the game show, did put out a statement saying that he was extremely offended by what had occurred on stage, and he knows that everybody else in the audience was also extremely offended, and that what happened there was extremely unacceptable. Because at Carnival, whenever you cruise with Carnival, as most of you know, they are known as the fun cruise line. They are very family oriented as far as whenever you get on board a Carnival ship. If you haven't been, they do try their best to kind of make it more of we're a family. Even if it's not just a kid situation, it's just as a whole. Everybody there is a family, and they're on vacation together, and they're there to have a good time. So when you see, or rather when you hear something like this, and I got to tell you right now, it's extremely appalling. To me, it's disgusting for somebody to be on stage in front of, I want to assume, hundreds of people to say something like that is, well, let's be honest, racist. It is extremely hurtful, but I'm also not very surprised given the world that we live in. What I mean to say by this is that, well, yes, we do live in a very sensitive time in the world, and there are people out there that are offended by absolutely nothing. That much is true, and I'm very transparent about that. I think some people need to just have thicker skin when it comes to certain situations. However, on the flip side of that, you have people that are very outspoken, overly outspoken, to the point to where, regardless if it hurts anybody else, regardless if it's disrespectful, people will have no problem just shouting out literally their opinions of how they feel about a certain situation. situation. And it's one thing when you feel a certain way about something, in my opinion. It's another thing when you are speaking in willful ignorance. You're going to categorize a bunch of people, well, it's in this particular case black people, as a type of people that you don't like. We all come in shapes and sizes and different personalities, and we have different perspectives and outlooks on life. And as somebody that travels the world, I know personally firsthand, and just even being here on YouTube, I see stuff all the time in the comment sections of people, again, just being willfully ignorant, and they don't know much about anything, so they decide they want to categorize a group of people because maybe it makes them feel better, or maybe it's something that they have been taught since they were children, and they decided to never mentally grow out of that phase and learn about the world for themselves. Now, naturally, the vast majority of people are extremely shocked and offended. And some people are going on to say that they wonder about what happened with the particular family, or, well, the woman and her family that said this statement to begin with. There are rumors, of course, floating around that, which, of course, I wasn't there. They're saying that once the woman, I believe she was possibly the mom, made this statement, even the family kind of chuckled and laughed, thinking that it was funny. But again, this is where that ignorance kind of takes place. But people, as far as the guests that are on board the ship, and I'm kind of curious myself, I wonder how those people held themselves after the fact. Were people saying something to them in the crowd as like a passing by situation? Because you have to take into consideration on board that ship, it's not just people that look like them. There are, well, let's be honest, other black people on board, and there are people of other races that are also offended by the situation. So I'm just curious as to how somebody would even think or have the audacity to say something like that in front of hundreds of people that they will continuously be stuck with for a week. Now, given I don't know exactly what day of the cruise this actually took place on, I'm assuming it was possibly a sea day in the middle of a cruise or toward the end of the cruise, but either way, I do believe the point still stands. There was also a comment I saw in regards to Lee, the cruise director on board the Carnival Mardi Gras. Somebody made a statement saying that Lee should not have pushed the woman to be more specific. Now, as you gotta understand, this is a game show in which things are happening live. It's happening on the fly. And Lee, the cruise director, his job is to keep things as fun and entertaining as possible. If you guys have ever watched Family Feud, be it even if it's just clips from like Steve Harvey, you'll see that he does kind of push the guests that are on the show to kind of be a little bit more specific when it comes to certain answers to questions, because people can say some outrageous things, and oftentimes it's more funny than it is offensive. And that's probably what Lee was actually pushing for. I've also seen people that are trying to blame Carnival, or they're looking at it as like, well, this is Carnival, you know how they are. And I'll be honest with you, of course, I've seen it even in like with the Loyal to Royal squad, because you always know there's the whole conundrum, the issue, the battle between Carnival versus Royal Caribbean. And I hate to always point that out, but that's the truth. A lot of people look at it as Carnival. The reality is, no matter where you go, be it on a Carnival ship, Royal Caribbean, NCL, on land, there are going to be people with differing opinions. There are going to be people that are very disrespectful. There are going to be people that are very ignorant. It does not matter where you go. Now, I don't want to dwell on this topic too much. It's just been the talk of the town for the past day or so, so I figured I'd cover it. Also, just looking at this particular situation, yes, there has been this thing going on, but there's also been other great things. The Carnival Mardi Gras did also rescue about 16 people that were on a sinking dinghy, and they made sure that they were okay. So that's also a good thing. But just also looking at this situation, guys, one more time, I try to make it very clear for everybody, especially as somebody that does look like the type of people that were offended on board the ship, in which this lady was talking about running over. Racism and just how people are, it is alive and well. A lot of people think that, well, this stuff happened so long ago, people aren't like that anymore, as it wasn't even a lifetime ago. My dad, may he rest in peace, when he was a child, things were very different than what of the world that I know of now. So just try to keep that in mind and understand that there are still people out there that have well, views that are disrespectful to some regard, and maybe they just need to have some light shed on them, or maybe they need to see the world for what it actually is these days, as opposed to just being stuck in what they've been taught since they were children. But anyway, guys, I am going to wrap this video up. Of course, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section below. I am curious to see what all of you are going to say about this particular topic. I also do want to apologize to all of you for not doing my typical cruise news. I know it's been a while, maybe I want to say about a week at at this point. But as most of you know, I'm currently in the rehearsal process to be an entertainer on board a cruise ship. And I got to tell you, I've had to sit down and focus because, well, learning a brand new show is very, very difficult. It does get easier. I also got to find my groove. I'm in rehearsals literally every day except for one day out of the week from 8 a.m. until about 6 or 7 a.m. And I got to make all my calls to the family and all this other stuff. Either way, guys, I'm going to do my best to get back on track. Just understand it's going to take like a week or so. But for all of you that are tuning in, just know that I appreciate every single one of you. I love all of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. And let me know your thoughts on all this in the comment section below. Also hit that like button. I'll see you guys very soon. Take it easy.